All right.
Oh.
Sudden story. We talk about speak with animals. I had something with the old Monday game, which Neil's in, where they spoke with animals with a giant snail, while the party was trying to look for someone. Like, has anyone suspicious come through this area recently? He was like, oh yes, there's been a man with blue arm, and he then described their party to them, and it took them like 10 minutes to clock. Like, that's us.
Oh.
That's us. And it was so good. Animals, they're animals. Even when they can speak, they're animals. I don't know if I've done it in this game. I've definitely done it in other games where it's like, speak with animals. You hear a lot of yelling of like dogs and birds and things. I love speak with animals.
Hey.
Hey. Hey. Hey.
Hey.
Hey, you're over
Have
there. Over there.
The
It's so
episode
good.
of Supernatural where Dean can talk to animals and he gets that, where there's just like dogs going, hey, 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 and a pigeon's like swearing at him.
Yeah. I love doing that. All right, so to the meat of the issue. You're going around, Varric. You're talking to other people. You didn't get the best check ever, but luckily the sort of things you're doing is you're just being very polite. And you don't get a lot of very deep information, but you're asking for some very simple things that you absolutely get. You're asking for the friend of Aelody. They can give you that name. Aelody Whisperglade was always in this place with Caldicus Velrexon.
You're putting his name in chat.
Oh, I am. That's why I like stumbled over it. When you ask about them, it's like, oh, she's a little cold, you know, not like a friend, and that's kind of really as far as you get. But you ask multiple people.
Okay.
They all say that they haven't seen either of them since the fire, which.
Ooh.
Immediately makes
about,
you think Varric, because you very much noticed that just the and from what you know, banshees and most ghosts, unless there's other circumstances, really take a form related to the way they died, and she was choking. The banshee was choking.
Oh.
Choking in smoke.
Where was the fire?
They can't tell you that.
Okay.
The closest they tell you is up north, which is
Okay.
there's a lot of north.
That's okay. That's information that
But
is
you are
good.
pretty far north in the city, so via process of that elimination, you know how much.
Find a burnt building. But I would go back in and relay that information to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
A fire.
You saw that she was holding her
Yes.
throat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we see any burnt buildings on the way in here? That was probably a while ago. They might have rebuilt it. Could have been in the city. Could have been outside of the city. They just said north.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Is there a tavern nearby? It seems
Oh,
unrelated.
is there a tavern nearby?
I mean,
'Cause I would
you
probably
came
know
from a
that.
tavern, but you came from a very high-end tavern.
Yeah.
There
Were they
would be
giving a
a.
slum
So
tavern?
when you the sort of thing you're looking for, like a very lower end tavern, yes, in the sort of like north west.
West is left.
Yeah.
East is right.
Yeah, this is my west, north,
Yes.
east, southwest. I can't do that. Sorry, it's a reason why I
Never
get
eat
lost.
soggy wieners.
Is you just blew my mind because I do a different one and now I can't remember it.
Never eat shredded wheat.
That's what I do. I do never eat shredded wheat. How did you know that? You bastard.
I am a telepath, don't you know?
We have a lot of things in common.
We do.
If you could
Yeah,
read my
yeah.
mind, I wouldn't be that surprised.
Well,
But you don't want to read what's going on in it most of the time.
well.
Not
that
but no,
bad.
there absolutely would be a sort of in the northwesterly area of town that you jog through in this lower pass. There are sort of In some cities, they're so old that areas have been built on top of each other. And this city doesn't so much have that, because Beirut, this city was built from the sky downwards. But you are still on the ground, which is the lowest quality area. When you get away from the touristy area, you can get kind of a little... and there's absolutely a tavern that you could stumble your way towards in that area.
I would tell Varric that yes, there is. Am I even like remotely close? Has it been about an hour at this point?
Yeah,
the books are
It's one of those
mostly
things
in order.
that his job was also an hour-ish.
Yeah.
You're done enough, you know?
There are still books being moved, and that's fine, but it's in a state where I can clean it up much easier the next time I come back if need be. That's all I'm looking for. Cool. Let's go to a tavern. And
Put mask in.
why though?
As you're walking,
Because
yeah.
if there was a fire in the north, the taverns where people would talk about it.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Did they even say north of the city? Like the north end of the city, or did they just say north?
They just said north, but I assume the city. I mean, they had to come to the library, so...
Could be in the woods to the north, could be on the road to the north, could be in the city to the north, could be in a city far away to the north, could be in the northern area of the continent.
Varric just turn around and start walking away as he does that.
You just speed up.
Oh, I'm walking with you.
Yeah.
I'm walking with you.
The tavern you go
That is
to...
why we're asking at the tavern.
Yes. Well, that's my point. I think it's a good idea.
As a sort of high elven city, there's some layers. And the tavern you go to, you almost got to imagine almost like this swoop of an extra layer level. You go downstairs, and it's below other structures is this sort of shop front of a tavern that has some glass, but the glass is not particularly clean, or it's stained. You can't tell. It is called the Dusty Stallion. It has a sort of wooden statue of a horse outside that is not the best quality. And you go in. It is very much a lower quality workman's tavern. It's a wooden area with dim lighting, but it is warm enough. But it's kind of warm enough right now that they don't need the hearth to be incredibly a roaring fire. There are several drunk people. It is not all that late. It's the kind of time where, like, oh, yeah, I guess we could eat, you know? But there's already some people here who are already head down in drinks. The sort of the menu is just scrawled in Elvish on the wooden paneling of the back of the bar, and it is essentially like different drinks, but not even that many. And like, do you want like gruel? We got gruel. It's like the lowest, and even to Brute, it's probably the lowest quality you've ever seen in an Elvish establishment. And it still has Elvish qualities to it, but it's something else entirely. You aren't really even given much attention when you get in. Some people kind of look at you a little, but you're mostly to yourself here.
Okay, I'm gonna immediately go up to the bartender, take off the hood and mask, and
the bartender is an elf who looks like at some point he's been given a Cheshire smile. He's got very nasty scars here. Barut,
Yep.
Give me a history check real quick.
Ooh.
Luckily, I will give you like some of this. It's one of those things where you're always going to succeed. It's just how much you succeeded. Because of time you spent with high elves. You have scars. You don't really care.
Yeah.
You've met other elves with scars. High elves and their culture believe themselves so perfect that scars do not belong in their society.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be healed properly. It's very frowned upon. And this is a very public scar, straight up on his face, around his lips. And he like glares at you, but then just probably glares at everyone that comes in. What are you saying?
First of all, I'm ordering just a drink, just a basic drink.
It's like 2 copper.
As basic as basic.
Yeah.
Pardon?
It's like 2 copper.
Yep.
And
And
he'll
then,
immediately start, pouring from a keg, just a
Yep. As he's pouring it out, I'm going to say,
shitty ale.
the little something extra. I need information on a fire that happened, and I'm going to put a gold down.
Usually when people coming in here wanting extra, they want a woman or a man in their bed. You want information about a fire.
I'm different. Though I may come back for that later.
Alright, and he does the sort of like, pulls in the coin about properly picking it up, and kind of like flicks it into his clothing. It's like, yeah, there was a fire. Now the thing is, you ain't from around here. I'm trying to place you. It's very hard to do, friend.
I'm gonna come up at this point and sit next to him, and I'm gonna say, sorry about that. My little brother is a little bit of a, he's
Still getting used to all this.
Where are
he's trying
you
to teach
two
me.
from?
I am from the Mount Birth area of Zaustella, and my younger brother here is from a little bit further. We are mountain elves, and
Shit.
well,
I get it.
I know.
The crux of the issue, lads, you're not from here. I could get in mighty trouble for telling you what you're looking for. Now, I take your money, but I can't tell you much. I'd be risking my life. And I've already risked my life as
Whatever you can tell us. Anything. Little tidbits of information, things that couldn't possibly be pieced together. Those are fine.
I'll tell you if you want more information on this, you might want to make a charitable donation to one of the beggars.
That I can do.
A hefty one.
I'm going to put another gold on the table. Thank you.
He'll do the same thing.
Yep.
And he'll give you a nod, but then like as you turn to go, he's like, no, but seriously, be careful.
And Burt's gonna turn back and this time more quietly, because he kind of realized that Eleanor heard everything that he said the last time he tried to be quiet. So he's gonna be
He's
a little
better
bit more
at
quiet.
yeah.
I learned. And I'm gonna just say, in mountain elf culture, your scars would be a badge of honor, and they welcome it. My brother, he doesn't have any yet, but he will. And when he does, he will be welcome home with glory. And I hope for you that you find the glory that you deserve as well. Thank you again for your help. And then I'm going to turn away.
It's one of those things where he doesn't say anything back, but he's clearly listened and maybe thought about it a bit more.
Yeah.
As once we're out the door, very excited to get to him. I need to learn more things from you. It's a lot easier to lie when you have more information.
Yes. And I'm just going to pat him on the shoulder and say, next time, make your skin pigment a little bit darker.
Will do.
I didn't realize.
Now let's find a beggar.
to leave.
Or are you still in there drinking?
Well, I feel like as you go to walk out, just
I would have sculled the drink. Yeah.
Bias is just talking to a group of people at a table, ordering drinks.
You know what? If you're drinking, we might sit down and join you for a minute. I'd be
too.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the
Yeah.
least elvish
we
place
came
we've
to a
been
bar.
since we got here.
Yeah.
So it's all right, they're over there. It's all right,
a little more
sit at a
homey.
random table. How are we doing tonight, lads? What are we drinking?
You are not talked to by anyone in the bar if you try to talk to them.
If we sit down and
Strong
drink,
silent types, eh? That's all right.
if we're sitting down and drinking, I will pay very close attention to the people that pay a little bit more attention to us.
You can give me an insight check for that. Lots of insights today.
I'd be doing that as well.
Oh, feel free.
Yeah.
It's sensible, you sit down and you just start, random chat, clearly not talking about the job.
There we
like,
go.
oh, what do you think about this place? What's going on?
I'm realizing the scale of things we're getting into just purely because the barman didn't want to, like, him not wanting to tell us stuff told me more than I.
Oh,
was
absolutely. Right?
Mhm.
It's why you're just paying attention, and then Brute notices you're paying attention, and then also starts paying attention. While you're chatting about nothing, you see there's actually several half elves in here, and one of them who has several scars on their face is very intently, like, sort of looking at your group, sort of rubbing at his neck. And the more you look, there's like a red mark on his neck that looks like it was given from a recent choking by rope.
By rope. Ooh.
Yeah.
Mm.
Have
Ow.
an empty dwarven cask of ale with me. I'm just kidding.
He is drinking a different drink to everyone else in the tavern.
Do I recognize this?
It's one of those
guy?
things where maybe if you follow his eyes, like a little bit later.
I'm probably tapping, because I'm going to
Yeah.
be sitting next to Tobias here. I'm just going to tap him on the leg and
Like-
kind of nod lightly.
You do
very, very
recognize him.
slightly in that direction.
He
Cool.
did not have the choke mark when you last saw him.
As soon as you're like kind of like, hey, like look, and I just kind of slightly turn, and as soon as I see him, I'm like, oh hey, and I like wait.
Wait, no.
Oh,
Wait.
God.
I was gonna say
God.
before, but when I started looking around intently, I was gonna write on a note and slide it around the table to people, and this is what it would say.
It's like one of those things you do that, and you're like, oh, is that... Do you still talk to the dude?
Oh yeah, I mean,
I'm just going to take the note back from beside Toby and put it in my
we're
pouch.
friends now. So
You go over to him, and he immediately, like, jumps up, kicking, like, the table a bunch, and he was sitting with some other people who were like, ah, what are you... And he, like, immediately, and you see he pulls out this dagger, which has a long haft, and sort of stare. There's, like, a moment where you think, Tobias, he might jump at you, but you're not that scared. He's already jumped at you once before.
yeah.
While
then he
you
just-
were having a coffee hangover.
He immediately, like, just sort of bustles past you and books it out the tavern.
Well, that seems suspicious.
Well, where do you know him from?
Oh, I met him when I was peeing in the alley. Come on, and I just run out of the tavern after him.
That's so D&D, and I love it.
Should we go?
Yes, we should go. And I'm just gonna plop like a gold down on the
Yeah.
table, and then slide it across to the people who
And knock everything
who are
off your
there.
desk.
Yeah.
It's okay, I nearly knocked over my coffee earlier. I feel your pain.
I literally just threw my headphone cord out, so if anyone responded to me at all, I didn't hear you.
I would like to cast Hunter's Mark on this
Yes! Like, before he, like, disappears around a
man.
corner.
Yeah, like as he goes out, I'm gonna be like, oh,
And
alright.
now everyone give me an
That's the
athletics
damage.
check.
I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
No, I know. I mean, basically,
Can I
you
do
tell where it's
acrobatics
going.
instead?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I think you're the only one who can really argue that, because
And
even...
also remember, I have
Tobias
40
is not.
speed.
Those
That
morning
kind of
runs are paying off.
Ah, dang it! I wasn't ready for this. I'm still in makeup, and I'm trying not to smudge the makeup while I'm
Yeah.
I need
Oh,
Eleanor!
We
It's
outrun
one of those
Eleanor!
things where you were already, like, most of the way through a drink, and you had to kind of, like get out. By the
had to
time you're,
pay?
like... Yeah, exactly. By the time you're already out, the rest of them are kind of already gone. It's one of those things of, like, maybe I'll stay here instead. Like, you're already smart enough to be like, it's not worth running.
Right.
Whereas Virik does start running and does the sort of thing of, like, you're running through sort of the not necessarily slums, but for the rougher, closer together neighborhoods. And you're like, I'm gonna take a shortcut, and you go through one of these areas where it's almost an alley, but it's like a stall that's been set up between buildings, and you sort of dive between these buildings and keep going and get, like, caught up in, like, clotheslines, and you see the rest of this chase go on, Virik, but you are a good deal behind them, trying to Assassin's Creed parkour as much as you can. But not so much. Now, the other two of you, he's actually a fucking good runner. And it is literally the thought process that you two have of, like, these morning runs are paying off, because you are... the run goes for a good maybe 5-10 minutes before you essentially... It's one of those typical, like, cop movie runs where he just runs into a dead end.
I would just
It's
like to point out
exactly how you get him.
At the
Good.
beginning of this run, I still have my drink.
Oh, yeah, you were walking over with it.
Yeah, like,
oh my god.
That's true. Yeah.
minute or two, I'm just like drinking this.
That's
and, like,
so good. I love that. You're so northern. Yeah, it's literally the cop movie thing of he just runs into a dead end, and he like looks and like, oh, maybe he can jump it, and like tries, but he's just too tired. And you just corner him in the dead end of this alley, which again, clotheslines and barrels and things. It's very much on a horrible, muddy mess on this sort of bottom layer of the city because all the water runs down into it.
yeah.
I'm gonna walk up to him and I'm gonna outstretch my hand for a handshake and say, Baruit Benarin, nice to meet you.
At this point, it's one of those things where he's like, and like looks to Tobias and looks to you, and he takes the fucking handshake.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's a friend. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were like, yeah, I know this guy we met pissing. As far as I'm concerned, he's family.
It's almost it's before you get the next like phrase out. He's like, I was nearly killed for taking something from you. I don't want anything to do with you and your fucking dark-skinned
who?
drow elf.
By who?
Wait, did he just say what I think he said?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. And Baruit clocked it, but he's not touching it yet. By who?
I cannot say that.
You see
I
that
will
choke
be-
mark around your neck? No, you can't see it on your neck. I'm sorry. Here, hold on. And I'm just gonna hold up my old buckler and see if you can kind of like see.
I am
any-
perfectly aware of what happened to me.
Right.
I was given a chance and a warning. I
Good.
tell you fucking anything, and I'm burnt alive.
Good. So you understand that that's what happens to you if you tell us something. Do you know what happens to you if you don't tell us something?
Kind of looks, and like his eyes look to just the weapons on your hips. If you want to give me an old intimidate, feel free.
Oh! Ah! Oh, damn it!
Never mind. Just do what you're gonna do. We'll go from there.
It's yeah.
I'm ready to.
Both of you
My
give
rolls today are the worst.
Both of you give me dexterity saves. Barut, you have disadvantage.
Fine.
Ooh, okay. While you're saying this, he's sort of looking at your weapons and trying to realize figure out how scared he should be. And then there's this sort of flood of water. Both of you are in tune with nature enough that you kind of see it coming. Like I said, there's other areas of the city above. You are sort of where the gutters of a higher neighborhood are flooding down. But this isn't just... It's raining. It's not like it suddenly rained a couple extra inches. This is almost like a tidal wave that crashes of murky water from above the two of you. And both of you manage to dodge either side to not be swept away with it as it sweeps away. Like, the water splashes down, almost stays for a moment, and then rolls down the street in a very unnatural way. And when that happens, the half-elf that you've been chasing, in like the moments that you dodge away, he scrambles his way very messily, nothing like how Virik does it, up, out of over the wall that he was stuck against.
As he does so, would it be possible? I'm not trying to kill him, but would it be possible for me to make? I'm not even trying to attack him, but would it be possible for me to make an attack?
Shoot an arrow above his head to
What
stop him.
It's one of the things he's slow enough, so like when you're getting your breath, he's like on top of the wall. Like
What I
trying
want
get
to
over it.
do is throw a dagger, not necessarily even to hit him, but to try to nip, like if he's wearing a cloak or something. Not trying to. I'm basically trying to rip off a piece of a cloak.
Yeah,
or
I get you completely.
You know?
That'll just be a dagger attack.
Yeah.
I have rolled 2 nat ones today, and I am so upset. It is both in times where it has
macroed in. But
They're both in times where it's been so
At what
detrimental.
point would I catch up?
That's exactly like you managed to like just snag, and he's wearing just multiple layers of very low quality like cloaks and clothing. They're tattered and worn, and they have patches. And you can just snag a good deal of this like warm cloak, and it's just flutters down into the street, and you can easily grab it.
Cool. As he does this, I'll just point at him. I'm just like, "There's nowhere you can hide from me."
He hears that as he less than gracefully drops off the other side of the wall. You hear him landing. He did not land on his feet, and then he keeps running.
That's fine. I'm gonna go over and retrieve the like tuft of fabric that we have, and I'm just gonna quickly, so it doesn't get too wet, like put it in my cloak, and I'm just gonna look through it. And I'm like, this should give us everything we need.
Should it? Bruin is looking at you very confused because he doesn't really understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna nod to him and be like, we need to go shopping tomorrow.
Bruin looks at you even more confused than he was before.
At this point, Varric tumbles in from the other from the hallway. He got the wave. Slowed him down a bit.
Hey, so you're probably without your makeup now because
it's one of those things. It's like a little streaky, but mostly fine.
The mask is back on. Hood's back on.
Okay. Why are we shopping?
This actually might be a good question for you, since you spent some time in this city, right?
Yes. Not that I did much shopping, though.
Well, I guess it would be nice to pick up a little something for my sister, but I'm mostly interested in, do you know if they have hunting dogs in this town? Or if anything of that sort?
The answer is very much yes.
Do I know if there are
The
any
answer is very much yes.
Yes. Yes.
You can imagine high elves very much enjoy sports like fox hunting and things.
Yeah, they're a bit proper like the elves here. Well, as proper as a dog can be, but
more proper than some men.
You say like finishing off your mug.
It's gonna turn to Varric and pat him on the shoulder.
Oh, racist!
Did I miss something? Like we were chasing, and now you're talking about shopping? What?
Don't worry about it. We are, and then Bert's gonna point to Tobias and say, "We're gonna follow his plan, which is to, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, now that I understand what your point is, to track him down using that piece of cloak that you ripped off of him with a hunting dog."
Yes, and of course I had no intention of killing the kid, but if he's scared, maybe he'll retreat somewhere that will lead us back to...
He's a half-elf. He won't be in the upper city, I can tell you that.
Well, that's good, because I
he
feel
will probably be in this area.
Excellent. Yeah, well, I'm satisfied with my tough...
It's one of those things, it's actually pretty late. If you wanted to hit the hay as a party, or maybe some of you do nighttime activities, that's totally fine.
I'm still trying to chat with the people at the bar.
We do that. Yeah, that makes total sense. Again, they really don't talk to you guys. There is a little bit of like, that's just crazy, right? But like, there's not much more than that.
I want to go back to the bar.
Can I roll a either perception check or investigation check to try to find the tankard that I took from the bar? Because I assuming after.
Oh yeah, no, that's one of those things you can.
Okay, I'm gonna go pick that up and bring it back.
Yeah. When you get back to the bar, Aelnor is doing what Tobias did earlier of like trying to talk to people that don't want to talk to her, but
I'm gonna
being
sit down.
northern and not accepting no.
On the way back, and I guess once we're all kind of together as a party and we fill in Eleanor and what happened, I'll mention. He said that if he was caught, he would be burned alive.
It didn't seem weird. It seemed like it was connected, but I feel like we should probably not talk about that here.
Right.
And Burrot's gonna turn to Virik. He knows, by the way. He knows. And Burrot's gonna pat himself on the nose and then pat Virik directly on the nose of his mask. He knows, which means they know.
And you'll hear him swear in Elvish. Like, it's just, fuck.
I will point out that when he said that, he was looking directly at you, Burrot.
Mm.
Not like at the distance where Virik was.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you know.
Yep. Interesting. What was the exact wording he used again?
Dark-skinned drow elf.
Yeah.
As if there were any other kind, am I right?
He may think that I am a drow.
Oh, maybe.
That's more what I think. But who knows?
Interesting.
See, the thing is, Burrot wouldn't put that together because he's been in this city before and he's been welcomed. So, as far as he knows, the people here know him as a mountain elf. A weird elf, but a mountain elf, not a drow. So, who knows? But Burrot would be very terrified for Virik in this sense, so he would be telling Virik. He knows.
Wait, if you relayed that, like, taking something from you was what he said, right? Yes. He got that for taking something from you guys with the Darksin drow.
Yeah, I guess you don't know what happened. When we were out for our morning jog, I think I had a bit too much coffee, so I had to relieve myself in one of the fine alleys that the city has to offer. And I met this young man back there while I was taking a piss, and he tried to rob me, which was honestly a little cute. And instead of giving him money, I gave him ale and said he could make the choice. Then I didn't see him again until just now, and then he ran, and I guess that he got in trouble for taking that, which, I mean, it's pretty dumb to take that if you know you're going to get in trouble for it, but I don't blame him. It is pretty good ale. But I don't know why he would get in trouble for that.
I have an idea, but we'll talk about it later.
I'm going to try and talk to some of the people in the bar. Like, I'm going to separate myself and...
What kind of things are you asking?
Just random nonsense. I'm just seeing if they'll talk to me. This is literally... Because Burrot's noticed that no one's talking
They are slightly more talkative to you. But it's one of those things, like... Maybe you'll be like, oh, hey, what's going on? Like, one of the people on a table will start talking to you, and then someone else will be like, or something. Like, they will then clearly point out that you are not meant to be spoken to. Maybe you get a little bit further because you are very much an elf.
Yeah.
And you're scarred too. You look like you belong here. Almost everyone here is either a half elf or pretty well scarred, or most likely both.
I'm gonna start talking shit about high elves. Just
go on.
Like, not too bad, but just it's and like if I can get to like talking to one person and just get them to talk to me enough so that I can get into the conversation of saying the high elves in this city are just so pretentious. They're so stuck up. What's a few scars?
You can give me a persuasion check.
It's
not even deception.
Would I be able to overhear this?
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as you say that, Twice is just gonna be like, I know.
It's like one of those things, like you pulled like one guy like aside who is just like on their own, and you're just having this conversation.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, what do you expect? People in the Sky City, they're fucking, they're drinking gold right from the teat.
They're not even that high up. I mean, where I come from, there are mountains that are massive, just absolutely. They may as well be as high as this city, and we don't get stuck up about it. We don't come from the sky. We live on the mountain.
But you're talking about it.
Talking about it because I'm pointing out that they are stuck up about it, and you don't need to be stuck up about it. It's your home, and that's great. But you shouldn't be looking down at other people.
Can you imagine if folks like us could live in the fancy pants halls up there? I don't even want that.
Why couldn't we, though? Why couldn't we? They say we can't, and that's all. That's the only reason. They say we can't, and that's it.
This is a real drunk conversation.
This is. Give me a persuasion roll there, Barut. You could do deception if you wanted, but this is one of those things where it's both or either.
No, I'm consistently hitting the same persuasion.
It's one of you keeping the conversation going. Like,
yeah.
You know, I know a lot of people who think the same way.
Oh yeah? Well, I would love to talk to them because it frustrates me. I came here as a traveler to learn about the culture here and all it's done.
Ah, so you're a nerd.
Yes, I'm a nerd, but I'm a nerd who can fight. And it pisses me off and it makes me want to fight when some pretentious high elf assholes look down at me because of a few scars on my face. Because I'm not from around here. Absolute assholes. This is Barut just having an honest time.
No, exactly. It's just like
this is not
venting.
Yes.
Persuasion with advantage at this point.
It's just like...
Yeah, it's like you started on joining in on this conversation, but like...
One more.
That's all that outrage gets. One more. No.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll... Maybe I'll mention you to him. I mean, I can't make any promises. I mean, you're outside of your elf blood, you know.
Well, you know what? If they think like I do about this, then, you know, maybe tell them that. Maybe tell them that I'm pissed off.
You said you could fight.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't know.
What am I going to do to show that I can do something? You know what? I'm gonna hold on to the Banshee book in my bag, and I'm just gonna put my hand in my bag, and I'm gonna let my eyes roll back and glow. And so I'm gonna cast Lore Keeping, but I'm not trying to do anything with it. It's me literally just doing the magic for it and letting my eyes roll back and glow. And it's more of a white light this time, like a bright white light, because I'm not looking for anything, so it's just staying stagnant than it was.
Yeah, it's one of those things that she looks a little impressed. It's like, we have we have a sorcerer already, but you know, more could do the job. Because up there, every fucking elven child who's born with enough, you know, with a roof above their head, they get taught magic from like when they're 20. You know?
And how is that fair?
It's not.
How is that
every
fair?
single one of them, you know, they can cast magic that cleans all the dirt off their clothes. But guess where the dirt goes? Falls down here. Falls right down.
Just like they're spitting on you. Like they're spitting on us.
You understand. You understand the plight of the forgotten in this city.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Bruin's clocking that in his head, and he's just gonna say, it's just disrespectful.
It's just disrespectful.
Absolutely just. What is the point? What is the point of having a city if the people aren't all together? What's the point?
Fuck that. We don't want to be with them. We want to be on top of them. We will go up into the Sky City. We'll take that. And then we'll go into the fucking Solar City. And we'll take that.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, they keep saying that the sun is going to save them. I'll tell you something, foreigner, about the Sun Elves. They're all fucking dying. You know, it's a little kept secret, but there ain't been a Sun Elf baby in like 100 years.
100 years?
and you know the funny rumor? The funny fucking thing? The last hope fucking ran away.
You're kidding. And he ran away from his people.
And they're not going to be able to protect the nobility, protect the fucking false king on that throne.
Do you know where he ran away to? Just out of curiosity. It's more of a storyteller to storyteller. I'm just curious.
I don't know. I just know that sun elves are chicken shit by nature.
Oh, well, I can't disagree with you on that. Now, their last hope ran away. Unbelievable. I mean, my people, we don't run from anything. We run towards, and that's one of the things that I value about my culture. And it sounds like you and your friends are running towards the thing that decided to fuck you over, that decided to just spit on you from their city in the sky. Fucking disgraceful, them doing that.
It's one of those things where you're kind of getting into this again, and someone else walks into the tavern, and she kind of like snaps back to attention, kind of realizing she's talking to like you, but all four of you are like listening in on this conversation noticeably. And she's like, she kind of like pats you on the chest, it goes like clank. And it's like, I'll talk to him about you. If you're here tomorrow evening. And she kind of she briskly walks out.
And I'll just nod and then turn to the group and say, and that's me saying, let's get the fuck out of here before we get into a fight.
Another one.
Oh, another one, yeah.
Or a chase. And then you go back to the tavern, to the rusty ruby.
I want to point out I'm keeping an eye over my shoulder to see if anybody's following us.
Give me a perception check. It's a real good idea.
I'm consistent.
Would I also be able to?
No, yeah, feel free. Like,
yeah, I would definitely be paying attention to that. One less.
I want to see.
I rolled better. I just have a worse.
Tobias, what do your human eyes see?
Sorry, I'm just checking all my.
I've got makeup in my eye.
Yeah, you're like. It's like because you've got water.
Oh no,
you're checking behind you as you go. It's not incredibly subtle.
There we go.
It's one of those things where, like, as you keep checking, it's like, you know, but like it's like, oh, what are you doing? Like, it's a little subtle. And Aelor's just like, like completely stops and like, no, we're not being followed. And, like, you keep going. Otherwise, you're actually pretty sure you weren't followed. You're very careful about that kind of thing. You're even quite good at doing this in a sort of urban environment. You know, maybe pilfered a couple of things when you were younger and good at getting away from it.
I want to point out, I would be trying to lead us through a kind of diluted path back to as well. Just for...
Exactly. It's the whole shake a tail idea, right? And you get back to the tavern. Too late for dinner, sadly.
Okay, I'll hunt us something.
Hunt a roof cat.
Yeah. Other plans for what he's gonna do right
as
now.
much as I would like the idea of Tobias coming back an hour later with like a bushel of raccoons.
Urban panda.
It's one of those things where if you're like, oh, fucking hungry, like you can get some food. Like, oh, I'm sorry, the kitchens are closed. All we have are a fine variety of breads and cheeses from all around the county. And it's like, yeah, this'll do. I'll take a choice of 100 cheeses. Yeah.
Bruitt is so excited. He loves cheese. Cheese is his favorite food, like, period. So this is like actually, that was just like my total headcanon for him. Like, oh wow, because like mountain yaks were the whole
no,
thing.
it's like you're like it's just funny. It's just funny if like you're heading in, like heading go to bed, and like you're like, oh, can you get any like food as you're walking in?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. While they're going upstairs and eating, Tesh, did you say you wanted to do something tonight?
Yeah. So Virik, what he would be doing is the second they get upstairs, he would start fixing the makeup again. This time, putting on a little bit of darker shade, and he would also start taking the faux leather armor plate things off his armor to make him as just like solid black shape as he can.
Mm-hmm.
The hood, and he's going to actually take the mask that he normally uses, and he's going to put on the
wooden one.
plant mask,
Yeah.
the plant one, and you're going to see as he's doing this, as he's starting to,
yeah. Okay, cool.
yeah.
Just
as
remember
he's
that one
starting-
doesn't hide your mouth.
It's not meant to. That's why I did the makeup as well.
Ah.
Yep. And then as he's doing that, he's going to. Right, I forgot how to do spells on the sheet for a second. He's going to suddenly, as he's finishing up his outfit, the shadows start to cling to him a bit more. He starts to blend into the shadow almost. And then he turns to the others. I'm going to go see what I can find out by following some people.
Be safe, and
I'm not going to take
run
risks.
if they catch you, but try not to show the face that you plan on using.
I don't plan to show my face at all.
Good.
And then I'm going to jump out the window. Go out of the balcony and jump. I basically what I want to do. This is Viric's plan. Is he's going to go back to the slums area.
Yeah.
But try and stay high and try and look for trades, look for deals, look for any sort of activity where they're likely to report back to someone, and he's going to try and figure out where that is.
You're Batman right now.
Yep.
You can give me a. This will be either a perception or investigation, whichever one's better for you. I'd also allow an insight because you're trying to check who's shady.
Nope. Perception or investigation, both are better for me, so I'm going to do those.
I just like to give the options of what would make sense in the situation.
Yeah, I think
it's even more apparent in Stars by Number
investigation.
where there's so many options.
Yeah, investigation would make more sense for me, so I'm going to do that. Hey!
So that's brilliant. So I'm not even going to have you roll stealth right now because you running over rooftops is at this time of night is easy. It's actually a very beautiful night where there's some moon in the sky, but not enough to create enough light that it would be a problem for you. You easily go towards the northwest side. It's still in the lower pass, but you're sort of more imagining this as almost a separate district on the side of where the water runs down. And you're starting to look down from above. It takes you a bit of time of prowling, looking around. You're never noticed. You don't even make sound on the rooftops. You're honestly proud of yourself. This is as good as you've ever done on a surface city. And you do notice a lot of the... down in this district, you notice a lot of folk on the street. Especially now it's night. In places where the water doesn't drip down, because it's still raining. It's actually raining heavier now, which actually gives you more cover. There are, like in the archways of bridges and things, there are collections of people around a fire. And occasionally, actually, what you see is one of them coming up and offers to, basically tries to show them something. If you want to give me a perception check to try and see what that is. Don't have disadvantage because you can see in the dark.
Oh, that was so close to being bad.
It almost looks like a miniature bottle of wine. It's a bottle of a dark liquid. You can't tell the colors properly because of the way the light casts. But when the light casts on the light, and it's outside of you, like the light casts, so it's outside of your dark vision properly. You can see it's almost looks like it's blue in there instead of a black or a red or a sort of clear, whatever the glass color is. They will hand money or whatever they have to this person offering that, and it gives each of the individuals a miniature bottle of this wine. You notice several individuals giving this blue wine to the forgotten, to the people on the streets, who appear to be giving anything they've stolen, anything. Sometimes it just seems like they're giving information. You never notice the half-elf you chased. You do notice the female half-elf who had that long conversation with Baru, having a long conversation with the person who comes. These people who come to talk to them, they're better dressed. They look like they probably aren't homeless, but they're still very much, fully clad in cloaks. But their cloaks are actually like waterproof and stuff for the rain and stuff. I assume you want to try and follow one of them.
I was about to say, do I see anyone that looks maybe, if not slightly either tired, intoxicated, any sort of one that looks like they're paying a little bit less attention than normal, something like that? Looking for the easy mark.
Yeah. I mean, you got a good investigation roll. I think that's absolutely fine. But do give me a sneak roll. Stealth roll.
Yep.
You have a +10, of course.
Yep. So
With a
27.
I'm not even going to roll unless he rolls a crit. Mathematically impossible. You start following one of them. You notice one of them who appears to be sampling their own goods slightly. Has one of these bottles that they flick the cork off and drink it occasionally and sort of stumbling back. And you notice that they are like way more intoxicated than you've drank a lot of wine. And drinking a lot of wine gets you very drunk, especially if it's wine that passes you out. But the way they're staggering is not wine drunk. It looks like something much stronger. It intoxicates you in a different way. And sort of staggering and sort of leering at people. And leaves out sort of the westish way, where you are no longer, you have to like sort of climb over the city walls. Absolutely fine. Climbing back in will be a difficulty because you're kind of going from above to below. It's fine. And into the sort of areas outside where it's actually mostly flat area. Like it's almost like they've deliberately built vistas so that the view of Thundrel from afar is as good as possible. Because they're high elves. They've had hundreds and thousands of years to do this. The guy is going in a direction northwards into the forest, and then it's almost like he remembers. And you literally hear him like, oh yeah! And he like turns and starts going more westwards. Like literally just starts like going through undergrowth for a bit, kind of like nearly loses his shoe in a pond, and then goes more westward towards an area that appears to be hills, and then you realize they're burial mounds. And you see in the roof, in the mouth of each of these hills, is a stone sort of entrance to a mausoleum that are decorated and of a fine quality. They're sort of like an hour or so from the city, so at this point your passport trace is faded, but you can, don't worry about that now.
Okay.
Because you still are very stealthy. So sort of this out of the city sort of group of mausoleums, and there's a couple of them, but you definitely clock the one they go into, right? Yeah,
okay.
That's what you see. And you are clever enough to be like, I'm probably not going to follow him in there.
No.
Yeah, which is why I assumed.
So with that, I will go back, and you're saying the getting back in is going to be the harder part, right?
You are, first of all, so if you want to sneak back in, you're going to need to do a separate stealth and an acrobatics to climb over the wall.
I'm actually going to do something else.
Sure.
I'm going to find a nice little place to hide. And I'm going to switch out my masks, put the stuff, get the faux armor back out of my bag.
You're basically just going to turn yourself back into Virik.
Yes, and I'm actually going to pull out the fake papers I have for Raynor Wistfoot.
Yes. You walk with confidence.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the gate. The Punisher. That's right. That's the Punisher. The Punisher papers. I'm gonna walk back and go through the gate normally. And
it's one of those things when you go up to the gate. One of the high elven soldiers, and at this time of night, literal like soldiers in their sort of faux gold armor, is like, hold, and then like you've shown the papers, and it's like, all right, and then like it's like mask off, and you're like, because you're not a drow right now, and you are allowed back in with no problem, and then you can head back to the tavern,
and I will do that.
At that point, probably the humans are asleep, unless they wanted to stay up. But you can go and talk to Barut, who is meditating or eating cheese.
Eating cheese. How long was that whole excursion? Because if
2
that
hours,
was 4 hours,
2.5 hours.
Okay. Yeah, I'm probably still up then because I would sleep, like I'd meditate for the last 4 hours. Give the humans a chance to rest first, basically. Even though we're not at a camp, I'm still kind of keeping watch. We just encountered some shady
Considering
people.
what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A little smart. Though, of
Even
course,
with the
Tobias
alarms.
is casting alarm every time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, Virik is obviously one of the like.
Allowed.
Yeah, Virik is allowed in.
Yeah.
He jumped
Although
out the
I may
window.
have
so-
thought about waking up if he were to like sneak out a window or something late at night, but ultimately decided to trust him, which was clearly a mistake. So I will.
I mean, in this
Yeah.
case, it wasn't. Next
That's
time, it
true.
might be.
Yeah.
But yeah, the alarms are set.
That's what makes betrayal so sweet. So,
When
Yeah, no,
you're
I'm up.
meditating, you would hear Barut drop back down onto the balcony from climbing back up.
Virik dropped that down.
I'm not meditating yet. I'm eating cheese.
Sorry, yes, eating cheese.
Yeah.
It's a form
Yeah.
of
I'm gonna say
meditation
that's
in some
meditation.
cultures.
It is. Well, in mountain elf culture, absolutely.
So land back on the balcony and sort of walk in. Oh, okay.
Any success?
Yeah. Okay,
Oh.
so there appear to be trading stuff they steal. I think information they were talking a lot to an individual under, and I'll like describe the bridge and where it is.
It was multiple different locations. but-
Okay, I'll
You
describe a
can,
couple.
yeah.
of them.
Do I know the locations?
This is an area of the city you never really went in.
That's kind of what I figured.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those things
And
you
they
you could find a tavern because tavern locations are usually logic based to people who spend
Yeah.
enough time in cities, but other than that.
Fair. Okay.
I would actually say they would receive this in return and do minor illusion for exactly what it looked like.
So
when I do that,
yeah,
I'll-
you show the bottle of blue wine.
Do I recognize it at all?
Ooh, you can give me a
And I would tell him the effects, saying it made them not drunk, but almost sort of impaired. That sort of
investigating check, I suppose. I'm trying to think what would be
Investigation?
appropriate for like what memories of the past. Sometimes the insight, but not really this.
I'd argue that with the description of the action, like of what it
Oh,
does.
your medicine?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
kind
no,
of what
I think medicine's fine. Because either way, it's like if you don't get really good, you can try and figure out what it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh! All right. So
it's a real good illusion.
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you
impressive light work.
it's a brilliant illusion because you can actually capture with your the way that when you start casting is all the darkness in the room sort of formulates into this small bottle of wine, and where you can you even perfectly capture the glow of the light that casts this blue inside it. And he's going over, Barud's going over it and starts thinking of blue wine, blue wine, blue wine. And you do know what that is. You have seen it before. You were warned not to take it from anyone once while you were here, because it is extremely addictive. It is an extremely addictive, almost more narcotic than just alcohol. And you could easily pick together that if the King of Spears, if he's behind all of this, is making a loyal army of the Forgotten by getting them addicted to a substance. It seems that he's controlling the creation of.
I would also tell him about his friend that he talked to, having an extended conversation with one of these individuals.
Exactly. Exactly. The effects would be much stronger than alcohol, but you figure it would probably cause enough bliss to be addictive, but then completely like hard to walk, hard to fight. The interesting about it from your reckoning, it is most likely grape based, and you immediately start thinking of other things. I know this isn't exactly medicine, but just knowledge that you have. There are vineyards. The entire Royal Alliance Road between Thundrel and Aradia is essentially vineyard lands. But that's vineyards owned essentially by the cities. North would be where private vineyards are. And when you say that, Virik, it immediately clicks in your mind that that guy in his intoxicated stupor started going up a road north. And then was like, nope, not going there anymore. So that's immediately what you click together.
I will relay that immediately, that he was originally going up north. And I will also relay that where he ended up.
You do, I also give you, because it's medicine, this sort of intoxication, you know that Aelinor can remove on people. Not the addiction, but the affliction.
The effect, yeah.
I fucking rhymed and we're going to have it. And
I love it.
Giving you time to think, it's been an hour, why don't we take a break? I don't have anything clever to say.
Oh yeah, it has been.
Don't do my thing. Never said that before.